Game, just the intensity with which the guys played was impressive. I think that stems a little bit from the starting pitcher, and he really had all four of his pitches today. Got to his changeup. That was a point of emphasis this week. He felt like he wanted to really incorporate that. He did. Micah, they worked hard on it. He got his slider going. Didn't have his big curveball early in the outing, but found it as the outing went along. Just the intensity, the desire to compete and pitch, like it's real, and you see it. The fourth inning, he found himself in a little bit of a mess, which very few starting pitchers are going to go outings without some sort of trouble, and he worked his way out of it, and you could feel just the passion for pitching as he worked out of that mess, and that's what makes him, on top of the talent, that intensity and desire to do it. It's pretty unique. So that was good. Some other guys that got in there were on point, probably a little better than we've seen. Abraham threw some good pitches. I know the one play that inning got away from, I think, Lance, you guys saw him yesterday, played so good over there. Handled that ball. I think the inning looks differently for Johnny, and Holtz, the breaking ball, was okay, maybe not quite as consistent as we would like. We were hoping we could have used him, but they had lefties up, and then, with where the game was, they pinch hit, so he didn't get to face the lefties like we thought he may. I thought Joe Charles was sharp. We see that. There have been moments it hasn't been quite that crisp, but I thought that really looked good, and those guys are going to need to help us. They have unique profiles of how they pitch and the stuff that they bring to the table. So we're going to need them and others to keep doing their thing. Lineup-wise, there's different people that can help, and there's talented kids that can do some damage. And you saw Lodis. I think he's a little more comfortable initially. I felt like he was almost trying to press a little bit, trying to do too much. He's kind of settled, and that's one of the reasons early I tried to leave him in some of these games and use our infielders maybe in some other areas to let him try to continue to gain confidence. This is new. He was a great player last year, and we see it. And I think as he just settles into what's going on around him and our program and the team, I hope we continue to see this trend, because that's impressive. In the last play of the game, the guy got down the line really well. It's a really nice backhand play. I thought Farrow played a really good game of second base in every possible direction. Stood out to me on how he handled himself at second, and he hasn't played a lot of second base. That was good today. Holbrook, the blocks in the fourth inning with runners on base, second and third, he contained two really good breaking balls. And when you do all of those things, you have a chance to compete at a high level. And again, the relentless nature of the at-bats is what allowed us to open it up.
I know you talk about the balance of this lineup, but when you have a guy like Alex who's built like a leadoff guy doing what he's doing at the 9 spot, what is that going to do for you guys moving forward?
Well, it's so helpful to have the length. Like, we have a lot of length in the lineup, and there's still things we're not doing as well as I would like, but I'm probably being a little greedy with that. There's just no breathing room. What you want when you walk into a competition like this is you want the other team to feel like there's really no wiggle room, and they're trying to keep making pitches just like we are. We talk about the one pitch confrontations over and over. These are one pitch battles, but it's nice when you have that kind of left and right mix, and even guys that come off the bench in these games, like it's tough, and the competition breeds more toughness because everybody's wanting more out of their playing opportunities in their careers, and there's a lot on this. So the length of the lineup's one thing, and then I think the other people involved in the program that are fighting to get in there, that actually helps too.
How good was it to see some efficiency out of Cam today? I think he only had 36 pitches through the first 3 innings.
Yeah, to get some, like the line out, the first pitch line out, and the good play in left field, and some fly balls and ground balls, that helps. Like, when the strikeouts are good, but there have been outings where he's had so many deep counts, and the strikeout numbers may climb a little bit, but it's hard to keep the pitch count where it needs to be at 12 an inning, 15, 10. I think we had a 7 or 8 pitch inning, which is great, and we're going to need to do that. Coming off of the Saturday start, we wanted to be caught. He could have gone back out, but it just doesn't seem like when you have the game in control and you have so many options in the pen coming into the weekend, that seemed like the right move. But it was more efficient than it has been.
Talk about Joe Charles, man. I know he's had a really long journey and story, but you've only been here for a small part of it. Does a guy like that start from scratch with you, or do you ask around the program, like what's the scouting report on this kid, and how do you get him back right?
Everybody, when I walk in, like, it's a clean slate. Now, statistically, you do your homework. Like anytime you enter a new program coaching, you have to dig a little bit to know what you have. And some of these guys, not many, but some I coached against for a while. But you start to see the slider, and it's hard, and the fastball velocity. He hadn't been healthy for a long time, but now that he's had some continuous chances at this, it's good stuff. Like, it's 93. I think we've seen 5s and 6s, and it's a good little breaking ball. It's just commanding it and being, like we talked about the efficiency with Leiter, managing the counts, and when you get those opportunities to expand, to get the punch outs, do it. We've seen him do it against us a good bit. That was more along the lines of what we're hoping, and he's going to have to help us, and he is going to help us. But when you have a group of righties, if you can match that up with that breaking ball, the slider and curveball, I think, but today the slider was firm and good. Like it'll be a good matchup for some righties.
Marco, the first 2 weeks, it seemed like he was just missing a couple balls and popping some balls up. To see him spray the line drives, like, and that line drive that he hit for the home run, just how encouraging that is to see.
I mean, it's great, and he's got a really flat level swing. You could see it like every time you watch it. It's a unique path, and he's on it. I talked to him today a little bit for the first time about just a little bit, small percentage more of containment with how you gear up and load up to hit, because he's up there to do damage, and you can see it, and there's a lot going on, and he's got good hand-eye coordination. The one base hit, you see the deceleration and the management of the swing speed with 2 strikes. It's impressive. I think Lodis and some of the guys may be trying to just do a little bit too much right out of the gate, which is very understandable, but I think we're starting to see it settle in, and you're seeing more of what we saw all fall in preseason.
23 wins last year, already at 12, so you're kind of past a halfway mark to building toward a really good year 2. Do you see a confidence? Do you see an attention to detail with these guys that's maybe different from that group of last year?
Well, you have such a different looking roster, and some of these guys were going through this as freshmen and sophomores, and there's a lot of learning that you have to do. There were times last year the attention to detail was there. It just, we weren't consistent enough and weren't complete enough out there with what we were doing really in any phase of the game. So it's just a totally different look of what's going on. We haven't really changed anything tactically of what we do. Part of this game is recruiting and talent acquisition. It's a huge piece of college athletics, and it's never been bigger than it is in this day and age with the ability to transfer. So we try to focus on that and gain some experience and just position things to have a more balanced, competitive feel and look, and have some more pitching weapons and depth. There's a lot of baseball left, but clearly we're playing solid, and we're playing, at times I see pitching that pitches at a high level. I see defense at times that looks like it's high level, and I've seen offensive baseball that looks like it's well-rounded. That's all I can ask for. The record and the score, I don't even know what they are. I'm almost engulfed in the one pitch at a time things that we're trying to do within the games, and how we manage practice and player development, and then what you're looking to do with your recruiting right now. Our guys were at games last night and today to try to evaluate the next round of this. So it's never ending. And that's versus a team is different than the program. You're trying to position the program for sustained high level stuff. And that goes into how you recruit and where you recruit and why you recruit the people you recruit. And it's a dogfight to get talented players. We're not the only ones after them. Everybody's trying. So you have to have all the pieces of the puzzle line up to play like this and to keep that type of roster in check and going.